Hello guys, what is going on? My name is Sam, or Chaotic, and welcome back to another video. Now today, we're going to be taking a look at games which have either copied or ripped off Grand Theft Auto. And surprisingly, there are loads out there, certainly a lot more than I expected to find whilst making this video. Some of which are actually pretty good, whereas others are beyond terrible. So let's hop straight into things and take a look at the top 10 worst GTA ripoffs. Grand Gang City Los Angeles, a mobile game exclusively available to Android. In fact, most of these GTA ripoffs are Android games. If you search up GTA on the Android marketplace, you'll literally find hundreds of results. And these are just the ripoffs which have GTA listed in their tags. I'm sure there are plenty others out there which haven't. But as for Grand Gang City Los Angeles, it isn't actually too bad of a game. There are certainly worse ones out there, especially in the terms of their gameplay. But if you're familiar with the GTA franchise, especially Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, you should instantly spot that this game is remarkably similar without even playing it. From the locations, to the characters, even the storyline, this entire game is just one big copy. In fact, listen to this, the description of the game's storyline. A few years ago, John Carson fled Los Angeles, a metropolis mired in gang warfare, corruption, and drugs. Now John returns to Los Angeles to reassemble the Hater's family and take revenge for his brother's death. Which is near enough the same wording that Rockstar used for the GTA San Andreas plot. Here's the plot for GTA San Andreas. 5 years ago, Carl Johnson escaped from pressures of life in Los Santos, San Andreas. A city tearing itself apart with gang trouble, drugs, and corruption. So it's pretty crazy how the creators of this have gotten away with releasing this game despite the fact the game itself is, like I said, a near enough identical copy, and somehow has over 1 million installs as well. Now FPS Game Studios, the creators of this, also made a second game named Grand Brutal Auto Dead City. Now this game is located in Miami, which just like the GTA franchise is also referred to as Vice City in the game. And just like GTA Vice City, the main character you play as in this game is named Tommy Vercetti. And there are direct references made to GTA Vice City in this game also. The difference being, the game's storyline is set after GTA Vice City's story, and the city is now overrun with zombies. In fairness, I've always thought it pretty cool if Rockstar was to release a zombie version of their games, even if it was just a game mode. And this game, in fairness, is pretty similar in the terms of its gameplay to GTA Vice City. But then again, GTA Vice City was released in 2002, whereas this one was released in the last 2 years. I wasn't able to find an official release date for this game though, nor did the developers even have an official website themselves, which just goes to show you how small and indie this game developer are. But what I do know, it was definitely released in the last 2 years, and it's only available on the Android, but wasn't anywhere near as popular as the first game. Moving on though, Grab the Auto. Now would you guys believe that this franchise has 6 games in it? Grab the Auto 1, Grab the Auto 2, Grab the Auto 3, 4, 5, and Grab the Auto Middle East. Although for some reason, these games also go by the name Real Gangster. I'm not really too sure why the games have 2 different names, but either way, surprisingly, this is a very popular game series, with over 20 million downloads across all 6 games, which is approximately 10% of the GTA series, which currently has over 250 million. Now it's worth noting, these games are free to play, but they're covered in ads, which after a while becomes so annoying you won't want to play them. But then again, I'm not really too sure how or why these games have done so well in the first place in the terms of downloads, because the graphics are equally bad in all of them. It certainly seems like the developer, Ping9 Games, haven't made any attempts to improve the game visually in each game they've released, but instead each game just has a different map. Now you play as the character John Woods, who looks remarkably like a Lost MC biker member from GTA, and as you can see also appears to be wearing a leather jacket with a Lost MC logo on it. The games though are pretty basic, there isn't a huge amount you can do in them, and they only feature 8 different cars. And it's not until Grab the Auto 4 that you can play actual missions, otherwise all the other games are just open world GTA experiences. Finally, in Grab the Auto 4 as well, planes and helicopters were also added, allowing players to fly around, but I can't say the experience is all that pleasant, as there's a very limited flight mechanic in the game, and as you can see, the render distance is pretty short. But then take a look at this. This is the cover art for Grab the Auto 5. It is an identical rip-off to Grand Theft Auto 5, with the main character standing in the middle resembling Michael with Los Santos behind him. Now personally, graphically, the game doesn't appear any different, but the developer of this game claims that Grab the Auto 5 is the best GTA game out there available on mobile devices, especially with the addition of motorbikes, boats, and improved pedestrians that now fight back. But despite all of this, every review that I've read so far on the Google Play Store is nothing but negative, with comments about the bad graphics, the amount of adverts appearing all the time, and the poor controls in-game. And then from the same game developer, 9ping Games, they released another very similar game series named San Andreas Crime Stories. And there are 2 games in this series, 1 and 2. There is definitely a lot more features in this series, with the second one only releasing earlier this year. And certainly a lot of improvements have been made to this series as well, with improved flying physics, improved boat physics, and better traffic simulation. Plus, there are lots more cars to choose from, and a jetpack in the game as well. And it's clear that these games are a rip-off of GTA San Andreas. If the jetpack wasn't enough of a giveaway, the main character resembles CJ. Now thankfully the storyline itself this time isn't an identical copy, unlike the Grand Gang City Los Angeles we talked about a few moments ago, but it does take a very similar approach, with the aim to take out rival gangs around the city to rule the streets. Now the first game has somewhere between 10 and 50 million downloads. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the exact number because Google doesn't share the specific numbers with you on the marketplace, but it's by far one of the most popular GTA rip-offs available on the Android marketplace. But despite the success of the first one, San Andreas Crime Stories 2 didn't do so well and has less than 50,000 downloads. Then as for a game named Crime Life, this being a series of 3 games, 1, 2, and 3, with improvements to each one released. However, despite being a PC game, the graphics are that of a game you'd expect to see from the 90s or the early 2000s, not something that was released in the last 3 to 4 years. I think it's safe to say the graphics are pretty bad, but thankfully the game is free to download and play. Now there are missions in each game, but if you want to, there's also the option just to roam around freely if you prefer. But if you guys thought the police in GTA 5 were overpowered, the police in this game are on a whole new level. Now Crime Life 3 is only 29 megabytes to download, which is pretty insane in my opinion, especially seeing that most games nowadays are over 50 gigabytes. Grand Theft Normo. Now supposedly there are 5 games in this series, but I couldn't find much information about it, possibly because of how small and terrible it really is. Without trying to roast the game too much, it's a joke. The graphics for starters hurt the eyes just playing, the game is full of issues and glitches. For example, just shooting down towards the ground launches your character upwards into the air, and if you keep on shooting, you can go hundreds of meters above the map. Pedestrians in the game are frozen and don't move around, and there are areas of the map which aren't even solid, so if you walk into them, you'll just fall onto the map. I think it's safe to say this game was never completed despite being released in 2013. So let's move on to the next one. This one is named Miami Crime Simulator, another game also available on the Android marketplace, which is free to download and play. Now the first game had over 10 million downloads, and in fairness is a lot better than most of the other rip-offs you'll find on Android. Graphically it's very similar to GTA Vice City, but the main issue with this game is the lag. Every now and again you'll experience these major lag spikes which kind of ruins the gameplay. But other than that, if you're willing to sacrifice graphics for something that most games would have had 15 years ago, then it's not too bad. And after the success of the first one, with millions of downloads, the developer went on to release 2 other games in the series, as well as releasing versions of the game in other locations, including Las Vegas and Russia. Now a much bigger and more popular game, which many of you guys may have heard of before, is Gangster Vegas. Developed by Gameloft, one of the biggest mobile game developers out there, it's no surprise this is one of the best, advanced, and most downloaded GTA-style games there is, with upwards of 50 million downloads in total. It's also one of the few games available on both iOS and Android. Now although this game may not have next-gen level graphics, they're still pretty impressive for a mobile game that was released in 2015. Gameloft also released a second game earlier this year, which I played and made a video on, named Gangster New Orleans. And the game definitely stepped up in the second one with improved graphics, more features, missions, cars, and so on. Plus, like GTA 5, it receives regular updates and add-ons. But my favourite part being the fact that you can build your own mansions on your own private island in-game, which is pretty awesome if I do say so myself. You can also collect and store cars, as well as boats, and build your own runway and helipads too. So it's by far one of the best and most advanced GTA copies there are out there, with a few unique elements of its own. And because Gangster has done so well on mobile, there are companies out there that have copied Gangster. So they've copied a copy. One of these games being Auto Theft Gangster, which at first I thought was a mistake, it sounds wrong, but no, that's its actual name, Auto Theft Gangster. The game looks near enough identical in terms of gameplay, but rather than featuring in just one city, the game has 3, which you can venture between, including Liberty City, Vegas, and San Andreas. This being something which is pretty awesome and we'd all love to see and hope to see in the next GTA game. Hopefully GTA 6 will feature more than just one city, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, but there we go. So those are 10 of the worst GTA ripoffs out there, but like I said, there are hundreds more. So I want to get your thoughts and feelings on these, and maybe you guys have tried and played some of these yourself. If you guys could also drop a like on this video, it would of course be greatly appreciated and it helps me out a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel because I upload all the latest and the greatest Grand Theft Auto 5 content. So as always guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.